Duren remains a restricted free agent. Mark, you talked with his now former teammate Isaiah Stewart yesterday on what Duren's thinking. What'd you learn?
Isaiah really feels like he proved that he deserved a contract. He made an all-star, and I think a lot of times teams shouldn't look so much as the postseason. You got to look at the whole body of work. And Isaiah says that Jalen believes he proved no matter what happened in the playoffs that he's just deserving of this money.
Yeah, and Shams has just reported that they're far apart on what that money should look like.
All right, so Isaiah Stewart spoke on, through the report. I forget the brother name on ESPN. He spoke on Jalen Duren, and basically what he said, what it was regurgitated what he said, is he's the ex-Piston, but he was the Grizzlies, for those who don't know. He basically said that Jalen Duren feel like, it shouldn't be all about the playoffs. He proved himself in other areas, and in ways he a max player in other areas. And I'm just like, bro, if this a team that's gunning for a championship, that is the most critical time. That's the most critical thing. I mean, can he look himself in the mirror and say, I deserve $287 million? But we in a society, I'm not saying what he is or what he ain't worth, but we in a society in where people just lie to themselves, bro. They lie to themselves. They live in a false reality, and they lie so much until they start to believe it's the truth. I used to do that. I remember I was younger. We was in church, and the pastor was saying that, and I feel like he was talking right to me. It was so crazy. Some people just tell a lie, and they just started to believe it was the truth. And at some point, I believe a lot of people do that. I think most people do that, at some point in their life. And a lot of people just do it on a consistent basis, even as an adult. But check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist, thumbs up the video, share, subscribe to the channel. And, he said he just feel like he earned it. And, there's a whole bunch of people in the city of Detroit and outside the city of Detroit, not saying I'm one of them, that don't think he don't deserve that. But, I mean, it is what it is. How can you put on that abysmal playoff performance and say you deserve to even be a Detroit Piston, to be honest with you? Like, Ben Wallace, Theo Radcliffe, Rick Mahorn, Dave Bing. When you start going into the lineage of big fellas here, Dennis Rodman. Like, bro, you built in a drumming mode, bro. You can't get banged on. You can't get dogged out by Wendell Carter, non-existent versus Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, and then tell us you a max player. I mean, you a max player. It's hard for people to buy that. But also, it's not about what you've done, it's what you're going to do. They're going to project on what you're going to do. And, ultimately for him, the scary thing about it is you give him that money, and what if he don't get better? What if he get contempt sitting on that money? And it's like, oh, you got, but you just feel like, I mean, you can't sit there and look at the playoffs and say they don't matter. I don't understand how he do that. How can you sit in the playoffs and look at the playoffs and be like, well, yeah, it don't matter. Like, how does it not matter? How does it not matter? That's my $1 million question. The most important time of the year, and the Pistons are, regardless of what y'all feel, they are a playoff they are a championship contender in the East. People keep talking about Philly. Okay, whatever, bro. If you think that's gonna work, holla at me and by the trade deadline and let me know how it's going. Miami, if they get some scoring, they're a problem. They're a problem right now defensively. The Knicks, yeah, them young bull Hawks, young bull Orlando, young bull Toronto, yeah, they're a problem. So it's going to be a really good Eastern Conference. And I said it all last year. If you follow my main channel, Goodfella TV, I said it all last year. The West was severely overrated. I stood on that same stance from game 1 all the way to game whatever. I said the West was overrated. The West was the Thunder and the Spurs. That's it. It was a bunch of perpetrators out West. Y'all believe the Lakers and LeBron had a chance. I did not. I knew they didn't. You can't have two people out there who can't stop nobody. People live in a false reality. Be honest with yourself. I can tell you Houston wasn't going to do nothing because after them burner tweets came out, that was what it was. Denver too old. The West was, and Minnesota just didn't have enough. And even with LaMelo Ball, to be honest with you, if he don't play with no type of discipline and structure, they ain't gonna last between him and Anthony Edwards. He can't stay healthy, and he don't play with any type of discipline structure. So even when you look out, the East been stronger, but people believe because an old ass Steph, an old ass LeBron was out West. These old ass fucking names, Kevin Durant, they old. It's over with, bro. It is over with. John Morant was a name. DeMar DeRozan was a name. You know what I'm saying? You start to go out there, man. These dudes were names. Zion is not gonna never materialize into a consistent star. They just looking at names, bro. I'm looking at basketball as a team. You feel what I'm saying? So, in general, in a way, most people feel like you need Jalen Duren. And I kind of more agree on that. But I feel like you can supplement. If I was to get a Sabonis, then I'm going to try to find a way to get a Steven Adams. Or a Miles Turner to back them up, or they can just tag team the starting position together. But one thing, if you can keep Sabonis healthy, you may not have to pay a lot of money to bring him back, to be honest. But if you can get Sabonis healthy, it's kind of three things that you're not gonna get that you're not gonna get that Duren give you. He gonna be a consistent 2010 guy. He gonna shoot that mid-range jumper. He's a phenomenal passer, and he's gonna be a consistent basketball player if he can stay healthy. He gonna give you 20 and 10. He gonna give you 20 and 10, and maybe playing in Sacramento really has put a little damp, kind of little gray area on his game. But in general, I understand why if I were to do something like that, then I gotta go get me a Clint Capella, a Steven Adams. I gotta give me a Miles Turner to go with him and Paul Reed. But in general, and then they talking about him signing that qualifying offer again. I say, do it, bro. If I'm them, do it. I'm here gonna fucking paperwork right here. Sign that qualifying offer. Because at that point, I've been saying this the last couple weeks. At that point, we going for it. I'm going out there and I'm blowing draft picks. I'm blowing assets. I'm going to get the two best guys to add with them, and I'm gonna run Jalen Duren into the mud. Real talk. But ultimately, if this is the vibe and this ain't a game of chicken, if this is the vibe that he don't want to be here, man, get something for him, bro. At that point, get some. That's my mentality, bro. Get something for him. There has to be a plan in place where we can replace him with a center. Get something for him. If you got to go to Houston and get something going, fuck it. My thing is this. He going to give you 20 and 10 too. It ain't like Jalen Duren, no great defensive player. I think he has the ability to be great. Sengun, go right while y'all play. Y'all want to walk the ball up the floor? Sengun ain't trying to get up and down. He can, but he ain't trying to get up and down that bitch like you are going to. That's why I said I don't really understand. If you valued him so much, why didn't you pay last season, bro? Why was your name always in the cup, in the conversation for a stretch five? Vujovic, Miles Turner. That's what I never understood, bro. You should have. I'm pretty sure they probably tried to deal him and they didn't get what they wanted. But if I can give me a 2010 guy, if I got to give up an asset to get Alperen Sengun, I'm willing to do it, bro. But I get the upside of Jalen Duren. I understand why you would want to keep him around. I definitely understand. But I'm going to say this. There ain't one area he's a standout. And that's why a lot of people make him synonymous with Andre Drummond. But hey, appreciate y'all. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.